Hello, 9th standard CBSE children. Have a good day. Have a nice day. Today we are going to continue the lesson Animal Tissues Part 3 as video number 9. We are just going to discuss the textbook content. We have been learning Part 1 and Part 2 as animal tissues. In Part 1, we have learned classification of animal tissues and then about muscular tissue, nervous tissue, and blood tissue. Blood tissue about RBC, WBC, we have learned. I hope you recollect those points. That discussion, what is given in our textbook, I want you to go through the lesson so that some technical terms, the lines which may not follow to learn easily, that we will discuss now. Okay, so this is our video number 9, animal tissues as part 3, which I say it as textbook discussion. Okay. Now here what you are seeing is again classification of animal tissues. I'm just recollecting as epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. Epithelial tissues are further subdivided into squamous epithelium, columnar epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, ciliated epithelium, and glandular epithelium. Same way with connective tissue proper, supporting connective tissue, dense connective tissue, and fluid connective tissue. And muscular tissues, they are as striated or skeletal or that voluntary muscle, and non-striated or involuntary or smooth muscle, and third one is cardiac muscle. I hope you understand. And then about nervous tissue description we have learned. Okay. So now we'll just continue the content of the lesson as I said. This is also classification. Just I'm not going to read it out. We have already done. Right? Now have your textbook, the PDF that is sent to you. Now this is animal tissue. When we breathe, just follow it up. Then and then I'll ask you to underline the lines. Okay. When we breathe, we can actually feel the movement of our chest. How do these body parts move? For this, we have specialized cells called muscle cell. And the contraction and relaxation of these cells, these muscle cells, result in movement. Underline panna. The contraction and relaxation of these muscle cells result in movement. And then we say stomach. It is the organ where it is formed of these muscle cells. Actually, they are smooth muscle. And then see here, they are smooth muscle. See how it is here. The bottommost, the space. If we see the spindle shaped structure, we have learned. Is it not? So the smooth muscle, it is spindle shaped structure. All that dark dot what you are seeing is the nucleus of the cell. It is uninucleated. So now this is stomach organ formed of smooth muscle, lined by smooth muscle, and these are the muscles that we are seeing, and then a group of muscle, and then this is a single smooth muscle. It is a cell. It is a muscle fiber. So what will you learn? Label. The center one is the nucleus, and then cell membrane. That cell membrane, you will label it as muscle fiber. I hope you follow. So now we say during breathing, we inhale oxygen. It is absorbed in the lungs. This is line button one. During breathing, we inhale oxygen. It is absorbed in the lungs and then is transported to all the body cells through blood. Why would cells need oxygen? The main functions of mitochondria, it provides energy, is it not? So, where blood flows and carries various substances from one part of the body to the other. and it carries oxygen and food to all the cells. Functions of blood. It also collects waste from all parts of the body and carries them to the liver and kidney for disposal. I hope you could mark it. Blood and muscles are both examples of tissues found in our body. Same way, on the basis, it is classified into animal tissues are classified into epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. Number first classification பார்த்தோம்ல flow chart. இப்போ நீ வந்து பென்சில் வச்சு மார்க் பண்ணிக்கோ நான் சொல்ற lines. The covering or protective tissues in the animal body are epithelial tissues. Underline. The covering or protective tissues in the animal body are epithelial tissues. Epithelium covers most organs and cavities within the body. It also forms barrier to keep different body systems separate. Underline this. It also forms a barrier to keep different body systems separate. The skin lining of mouth, lining of the mouth, lining of blood vessels, lung alveoli, and kidney tubules. Kidney tubules now, here it is nephron. Sorry? And are all made of epithelial tissues. Underline this. Location of epithelial tissue. On side la location. Then epithelial tissue cells are tightly packed and form a continuous sheet. They have only a small amount of cementing material between them and almost no intercellular spaces. That is basement membrane in our type. Anything entering or leaving the body must come across at least one layer of epithelium. As a result, permeability of the cells of various epithelia play an important role in regulating exchange material between body and the external environment. I hope you just note down this. And as a result, the permeability of the cells of various epithelia play important role. That you underline. Regardless of this, they are separated from underlying tissues by extracellular fibrous basement membrane. Mark this. Mark this line also. Different epithelia shows different structures that correlate with their unique functions. Example, in cells lining blood vessels or lung of alveoli, a transportation of substance occurs through a selectively permeable surface. The membrane, it is selectively permeable surface. There is a simple flat kind of epithelium. This is called simple squamous epithelium. So see the diagram. This is called simple squamous epithelium. First one, simple squamous epithelium. And they are extremely thin and flat and form a delicate lining. They are extremely thin and flat. They are extremely thin and flat and form a delicate lining. The esophagus and the inner lining. The esophagus and the inner lining of mouth are also covered with squamous epithelium. Location, not location of squamous epithelium. Esophagus, lining of mouth, skin which protects the body. There are squamous epithelium. Right? Now, what is the function? It prevents these layers, prevents wear and tear. Especially in skin, it prevents wear and tear. And then it is forming a pattern of layers one above the other. So it is called stratified squamous epithelium. Underline this. What are called stratified squamous epithelium? Skin epithelial and the squamous epithelium. I hope you understand. Skin and the squamous epithelium. Underline. Have you done? Skin learned squamous epithelium. Then where absorption and secretion occur, as in the inner lining of intestine, tall epithelial cells are present. That tall, they are pillar-like. It is called columnar epithelium, which facilitates movement across epithelial barrier. Again, in the respiratory tract, the columnar epithelial tissue also has cilia, which are hair-like projection on the outer surface. So they are called ciliated epithelium. So in the paragraph, you learn about columnar epithelium and ciliated epithelium. Then cuboidal epithelium forms a lining of kidney tubules. Location is very important. Cuboidal epithelium forms the lining of kidney tubules and ducts of salivary glands where it provides mechanical support. This is what cuboidal epithelium. Then epithelial cells often acquire additional specialization as gland cell. They form the glandular epithelium. I hope you understand. Yeah? So this is for epithelial tissue. I'm a textbook content, but I have given more additional information. Other படிக்கணும். QBயும் இருக்கு, அந்த லெசனும் நீ படிக்கணும். சரியா? Then connective tissue, figure பாரு. இது வந்து columnar epithelium. நான் better diagram உனக்கு தந்திருக்கேன். PPT பார்த்துக்கோ. Then this is stratified squamous epithelium. Okay. Next, connective tissue. Blood is a type of connective tissue. Why do we so? It is the type of tissue in cells of the connective tissue. They are loosely spaced and embedded in an intercellular matrix. The matrix may be jelly-like fluid, dense or rigid, and it differs in concordance with the function of particular connective tissue. So what is a matrix? We say matrix is a jelly-like fluid which may be dense or rigid, and the nature of matrix differs in concordance with the function of particular connective tissue. Sorry? This structure for the connective tissue that has fluid matrix called plasma, in which red blood cells, that is RBC, red blood cells RBC, white blood cells WBC, and platelets are suspended. RBC, otherwise called erythrocytes, WBC, leukocytes, and thrombocytes, platelets. And in a previous video session, I have said about you should learn. I hope you have noted down. RBC, it is also known as erythrocyte, biconcave and red in color, biconcave in shape, biconcave disc shape, and red in color due to the presence of pigment hemoglobin. And it is produced by the bone marrow and destroyed in liver and spleen. And it is lifespan of RBC is 100 to 120 days. I hope you remember this. Additional okay. Whereas WBC, same way, it produced by bone marrow, lifespan 2 to 3 weeks, and it is destroyed as pus or damaged tissue or disintegrated tissues, right? And then it is of 5 types. Major 2 types as granulocytes and agranulocyte. Granulocytes are neutrophil, basophil, and eosinophil with the granular matrix and lobed nucleus. Whereas agranulocytes are monocytes and lymphocytes. I hope you remember this. And then, what is it? thrombocytes, they take part in blood coagulation, blood clotting. Okay. And then the fluid part is the plasma membrane. Plasma, blood plasma. The plasma contains protein, salts, and hormones. Blood flows and transport gases, digested food, hormones, and waste materials to different parts of the body. Functions of blood, that you will learn. I hope you understand. Then நமக்கு நான் வந்து இந்த பிபிடில தனியா blood structure கொடுத்துருக்கேன். அந்த blood tissue diagram தான் நீ போடு. நம்ம புக்ல இருக்கு, ஆனா கிளியரா இருக்கு. blood வந்து blood tissue, but it is not clear. So you will follow the diagram that is given in the QB. Okay. எல்லாமே நீ இப்போ QB ல உள்ளதும் அந்த what is it PPT ல உள்ள அந்த diagram you have to. Bone is another example for connective tissue. It forms the framework that supports the body, and it also anchors the muscles and supports the main organs of the body. And it is a strong and non-flexible tissue, and cells are embedded in a hard matrix that is composed of calcium and phosphorus compound. I hope you understand. So this is for bone. Detailed structure we have learned. Then two bones can be connected to each other by another type of connective tissue called ligament. Supporting connective tissue are the bone and the supporting connective tissue actually bone and cartilage. Dense connective tissue are the tendon and ligament. I hope you follow. So first bone, cartilage is over. Another type of connective tissue cartilage has widely spaced cell. The solid matrix is composed of protein and sugars. It smoothens both bone surface at joints and is also present at the nose, ear, trachea, and larynx. The tip of the nose and the cartilage. Then ear, pinna of the ear. I hope this is for cartilage. So I say bone and cartilage, they are supportive connective tissue. Then ligament and tendon, they are dense connective tissue, where two bones can be connected to each other by the ligament. And it is very elastic, considerable strength, but it contains little matrix. Whereas tendons, it connects bone to muscles. Triceps and biceps muscle parts of the thigh. And they are fibrous tissue with great strength but limited flexibility. It has great strength and limited flexibility. Okay. Then this areolar connective tissue is found between the skin and muscle, around blood vessel and nerves, and in the bone marrow. It fills the space inside the organs, supports internal organ, and helps in repair of tissue. In the paragraph, we have create textbook content. Okay. So here, this is areolar connective tissue. Diagram clear. Same way, adipose tissue. Connective tissue proper and the areolar connective tissue and adipose tissue. The diagrams are clear. Okay. Then bone tissue and bone tissue. This one is bone tissue. I hope you understand. And then first areolar connective tissue, B adipose tissue. So we are talking about areolar connective tissue. Yeah. What is it? Areolar connective tissue is found between the skin and the muscles. Areolar connective tissue is found between the skin and muscle, around blood vessels and nerves, and in bone marrow. and in bone marrow. It fills the space inside the organs, supports internal organs, and helps in repair of tissues. I hope you understand. Huh? So this is என்ன சொல்றேன் connective tissue proper, where we are learning about areolar tissue. As I said earlier, this diagram is good. You can practice this diagram for the test. The next one is about adipose tissue. Adipose tissue, fat storing adipose tissue is found below the skin and between the internal organs. The cells of the tissue are filled with fat globules, storage of fat, and lets it act as an insulator. I hope you understand. Huh? So this is for adipose tissue, right? This muscular tissue, as we have learned earlier, muscular tissue consists of elongated cells. It is also known as muscle fiber. You have to learn. Other day I said in the session, muscle fiber, they are nothing but muscle protein as myosin, actin, myosin, and tropomyosin. Troponin tropomyosin. And the tissue is responsible for the movement in our body. Okay. Muscle contain special proteins called contractile protein, actin and myosin, which contract and relax to cause movement. I hope you follow this. So here, first one, as I said, muscular tissue, it is of 3 types as striated muscle, unstriated muscle, and cardiac muscle. Now this striated muscle, as I said, it has striations of muscle protein, muscle fibers as dark and light bands. I hope you can see the labeling, striations, dark and light bands. Okay, and then it has nucleus. They are multinucleated. And then smooth muscle, as I said, it is spindle-shaped structure. In the beginning of the lesson, stomach, gastric lining, and the smooth muscle. Yeah. So this smooth muscle, it is a spindle-shaped structure with a single nucleus. And then this is cardiac muscle, where it has branches. The difference between cardiac muscle and the striated muscle and the cardiac muscle, they have similar structure, but the difference is it is branched. Cardiac muscle is branched and function is totally different, as it is present only in the heart. Heart muscles are cardiac muscles, and it is branched. And that branch, can you see? Now this is one muscle branch and muscle structure layer. This is another layer. Now the space, it is branched. They are not separate. It is branched. Now the branching in between them, it is called intercalated disc. நம்ம bookல இத note பண்ணிக்கோ. The white space, that is called intercalated disc. Okay. So the difference between striated and cardiac muscle is it is branched with the intercalated disc, and cardiac muscle, it is present only in the heart. I hope you understand. So that is the description here. I am not going to read much. Mark Paninde muscles present in our limbs move when we want them and to stop when we decide. So this is called voluntary movement. And these are also known as skeletal muscle, as they are mostly attached to the bones. Then they have striation, so they are also called striated muscles. The cells of this tissue are long, cylindrical, unbranched, and multi-nucleate, having many nuclei. The movement of food in the alimentary canal and contraction and relaxation of the blood vessel are involuntary movements. We cannot relay we cannot really start them or stop them. So it is involuntary muscle. Correct? And as I said, it is single. I hope you follow. Then for cardiac muscle the muscles of the heart. The muscles of the heart show rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout the life. These involuntary muscles are also called cardiac muscle, and heart muscle cells are cylindrical, branched, and uni. And here intercalated description in the next then nervous tissue, then this is what we have learned. Right? The next step, this is a reference book that I had. Sorry, the QB that you will learn. I am not reading now. As tissues, structure, location, and function. Okay. Then the net problem is repeated. Just a bit. Then we said about animal tissue. What is histology? The study of tissues is known as histology. The study of tissues is known as histology. It is as a simple tissue and compound tissue. And then simple epithelium and compound epithelium. Then functions of epithelial tissue in the 4 points of you have to learn. I hope you understand. Then about simple epithelium. Another simple epithelium, it is formed of single layer of cells. 1 minute. Just understand functions of epithelium. Right, go through this functions of epithelial tissues. Functions of epithelial tissues. The skin, which forms the outer covering of the body, protects the underlying cells from drying, injury, and microbial infection. They help in absorption of water and nutrients. They are involved in elimination of these products, and some epithelial tissues perform secretory function. Okay. The continuation of the video 9, the repeat and then just go through. Okay. Then about simple epithelium as single layer of cells. It forms a lining for body cavity and the ducts, and it is further divided into further as squamous epithelium. Squamous epithelium. It is made up of thin flat cells with prominent nuclei. The cells have irregular boundaries and bind with neighboring cells. Squamous epithelium is also known as pavement membrane, which forms a delicate lining of buccal cavity, alveoli of lungs, proximal tubule of kidney. Another nephron. Nephron, it is formed of, it is a structural and functional unit of excretory system. It is formed of a cup-shaped Bowman capsule continued as tubules as proximal convoluted tubules. Okay, so that is by the squamous epithelium. And covering of skin and tongue. It protects the body from mechanical injury, drying, and invasion of germs. I hope you understand. Hmm? Then it is cuboidal epithelium. Now the table it is composed of single layer of cuboidal cells. Nucleus is round and lies in the center. Nucleus, the single cuboidal cell. The dark blue color are the nucleus. It is also found in intestine, tubular part of nephron as microvilli. Microvilli particular small intestine villi or the finger-like projections meant for absorption. Other that increase the absorptive surface area. And their main function is secretion and absorption. I hope you understand. Hmm? Then it is about the ciliated epithelia. Location for the book. It is seen in trachea of windpipe, bronchioles of respiratory tract, kidney tubules, and fallopian tube of oviductor. Fallopian tube on the it is a female system. I hope you understand. And then glandular epithelium, ciliaceae, the globate cells, but ciliated columnar epithelium present, globate cells meant for secretion. Glandular, they are secreting hormone and enzymes. Okay. Next, columnar epithelium diagram for it. Can you? This is columnar epithelium. Then, as connective tissues, connective tissue made one of the most abundant, widely distributed tissue, provides structural framework and gives support to different tissues forming organs. It prevents the organs from getting displaced by body movement. I hope you understand this. Yeah? அப்புறம் இது வந்து நம்ம கிளாசிபிகேஷன் படிச்சோம்ல ஐ ஹோப் யூ அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட். இதுல அடிப்போஸ் டிஷ்யூவும் ஏரியோலர் டிஷ்யூவும் நம்ம புக்ல இருக்கு. இருந்தாலும் ஐ வாண்ட் யூ டு லேர்ன் திஸ். Areolar tissue is a connective tissue proper. It has cells and fibers loosely arranged. Adan channel yellow fiber and white fiber. They are in semi-fluid brown substance called matrix. It takes the form of fine thread crossing each other in every direction, leaving small space called areolae. The fine thread is yellow and white fibers. It joins skin to muscle, fills space inside organs, and is found around muscles, blood vessels, and nerves. It helps in repair of tissues after injury and fixes skin to the underlying muscles. I hope you follow. So in the area of the tissue, nama textbook you please learn. Right? Adipose tissue is the aggregation of fat cells or adipocytes. It serves as fat reservoir. Adipose tissue, it is serving as fat reservoir. A diagram for it. They are called adipocyte. The blank ones, pink lined, they are called adipocytes. They are found in subcutaneous tissue, that is below the epidermis, between internal organs around the heart and kidneys. They act as shock absorbers around the kidneys and eyeballs. They also regulate the body temperature by acting as insulator, not functions. I hope you follow. Then cartilage, cartilage, they are soft, semi-rigid, flexible, and are less vascular in nature. இது cartilage. Cartilage, they are soft, semi-rigid, flexible, and are less vascular in nature. The matrix is composed of large cartilage cells called chondrocytes. The matrix is composed of large cartilage cells called chondrocytes. These cells are present in fluid-filled space known as vacuum. I hope you understand. The areolar tissue is the line thick and thin lines in the figure. They are now the white and yellow fibers on it, but they can be as collagen fibers and elastic fibers. They are collagen fibers and elastic fibers. I hope you follow. So, areolar connective tissue, adipose tissue, and cartilage you will learn from this portion. I hope you understand. Then our book the location the description clearer. Right? The cartilage is present in the tip of the nose, external ear, end of long bones, trachea, and larynx. It provides support and flexibility to the body parts. It again location. Sorry? Then cartilage, see the diagram. First matrix, the ground substance. Then the dark ones are the lacuna where this chondrocyte is filled. Sorry? Then bone and just go through panicum, right? And the hollow cavities or space are called marrow cavities filled with the bone marrow. And they provide shape and structural framework to the body. Right? Then I explain description சொல்லியாச்சு. என்னெல்லாம் lamellae தெரியணும், canaliculi, the rings வந்து தெரியணும், and lacuna. Just understand it. Okay. Then dense connective tissue. Dense connective tissues are tendons and ligaments. The bone and the description நம்ம bookல இல்லை, ஆனா for bone க்கு நம்ம textbook description alone is. Okay. Tendons are cord-like strong structure that join skeletal muscles to the bone. Always remember tendons in the triceps, biceps, and tendons have great strength and limited flexibility. Tendons have great strength and limited flexibility. They consist of parallel bundles of collagen fibers which are present between rows of fibroblasts. They consist of parallel bundles of collagen fibers which are present between rows of fibroblasts. I hope you understand. And then this is the diagram for the book. The pink ones are the collagen fibers, and the purple one, they are fibroblast nucleus. Okay. Then ligament சொல்லியாச்சு. The light இதெல்லாம் இது வந்து bone, the two bone, இது ஒரு bone, இது ஒரு bone. You can see the arrow mark. These are bundles of connective tissue ligaments attached from one bone to the other. Ligament. Then sprain is caused by excessive pulling, that is stretching of the ligament. Then fluid connective tissue we have learned in detail as RBC, WBC, and platelet. Even in the answer, please learn. For blood, from here, blood contain corpuscles which are RBC, erythrocyte, leukocyte, platelets are thrombocytes. Right? Adlande, you have to learn fully RBC, WBC, platelet in the time. This is what brief answer. You will learn from here. I hope you understand. So here, இதெல்லாம் நான் சொல்லியாச்சு, நான் repeat பண்ணல, just follow பண்ணுங்க. Okay. WBC. Very clear? Then skeletal muscle, idu nariya solliyachu. And you will learn from skeletal muscle in the answer padi, smooth muscle, cardiac muscle, tanithaniya da keeping. Muscle separate altogether may not be asked separately as skeletal, smooth muscle and cardiac muscle. This you have to learn. I hope you understand. Now again, I'm not going to read, just follow this and its location. I hope you understand. Then muscle structure, we have already learned. Edella, skeletal muscle, smooth muscle and cardiac muscle. Repeat, skeletal muscle, smooth muscle and cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle, label it as C. Striations, nucleus, intercalated disc. The white spindle shape, white, that is intercalated disc. I hope you follow. And one next step about nervous tissue. Nervous tissue, again, we have learned in detail in the portion of intro. Nervous part as another center, cell body or cytoplasm with the nucleus and cytoplasm. That nucleus with it is Nissl granule. Cytoplasm, it is Nissl granule. That cell body is also known as cytoplasm. Correct? Now the cell body gives rise to branches, dendron, which in turn dendrites. Just remember that, recollect the point. Then as I said, axon, one of the dendron branching as axon, formed of two layers, outer neuralema and inner myelin sheath. Can you see this? Nama pinnal mari irukku. Ulla and the pink color and the myelin sheath. Outer purple color, that is neuralema. Put the engineering spelling N-U-R-E-L-I-M-M-A, neuralema, L-E-M-M-A, neuralema. And then the constriction, it is called nodes of Ranvier. Constriction is called nodes of Ranvier. The diagram is clear, so you can practice this diagram. And then the terminal ending, nerve ending are synapses. Yeah, and the end plate cell. And this secrete the nerve impulses. This transmits nerve impulses by the secretion of acetylcholine. Secretion called acetylcholine. I hope you understand. And then this nerve cell, they have the ability to receive stimuli from within or outside the body and send signals to different parts of the body. I hope you understand. And nerve cells do not undergo cell division due to absence of centrioles, but they are developed by glial cells by the process called neurogenesis. Traditional information. I hope you understand. So this is for our video number 9, animal tissues, where I have given our textbook PDF, and then this is additional reference. Nothing but our main school biology. The content is clear and good. You can note down as additional. So wherever I am asking you to learn from this portion, you will copy this. But you should go through the content of this part also. I hope you follow. So this is for animal tissues. Right? So we are continuing next video session with the plant tissues. I hope you follow. Right? I will continue in the next video session. Have a good day. Have a nice day. Okay. Thank you.